A Canadian dog's love story. Snowflakes drifted softly over Toronto's quiet streets, blanketing everything in white. Winter had wrapped the city in silence, except for the sound of paws crunching gently on the snow. Those paws belonged to a golden retriever named Maple, a dog who had grown up with her owner, Daniel, since she was a puppy. Daniel had found Maple on a cold February night 7 years earlier. He was walking home from his job at a small cafe near Yonge Street when he heard a faint whimper near a garbage bin. Curled up against the cold, with matted fur and trembling legs, was a golden retriever pup no more than a few weeks old. Daniel's heart ached instantly. Without a second thought, he wrapped her in his scarf and carried her home. From that moment, Maple and Daniel's story began, a Canadian love story not of romance, but of companionship and loyalty that would stand stronger than many human bonds. Maple's place in the family. Life wasn't easy for Daniel. He was a student back then, struggling to pay tuition and rent. But Maple never asked for much, only food, warmth, and love. As Daniel studied late nights, Maple would curl beside him, her head resting on his lap. On the hardest days, when assignments piled high and money ran low, Maple's wagging tail reminded him that he wasn't alone. Years passed. Daniel finished school, got a steady job in Vancouver, and carried Maple with him across the country. Wherever Daniel went, Maple became the center of the household. Neighbors knew her by name. Children would run up to hug her. She wasn't just Daniel's dog, she was part of the community. A test of love, but life, as always, tested their bond. In the spring of 2022, Daniel received news that his mother in Halifax had fallen gravely ill. Torn between work and family, he decided to take a long road trip across Canada to be with her. It was a journey of thousands of kilometers, but there was no question, Maple would ride shotgun. From Vancouver's coastal rain, through the prairies of Saskatchewan, over the icy lakes of Ontario, all the way to the Atlantic winds of Nova Scotia, Maple never left Daniel's side. She seemed to sense his worry, resting her head on his shoulder at night in lonely motels, reminding him with her steady presence that he wasn't facing this storm alone. By the time they reached Halifax, Daniel's mother was in the hospital. Maple quickly became her source of comfort too. Nurses allowed the dog to visit, and whenever Maple entered the room, Daniel's mother's face lit up despite the pain. Maple would curl at her feet, radiating a quiet warmth that no medicine could provide. Love without words. As the months went by, Daniel's mother passed peacefully, leaving Daniel broken with grief. Those were the darkest nights of his life. He'd sit on the porch of the small Halifax home, staring at the ocean, feeling utterly lost. Maple, sensing his sorrow, would lean against him, her fur damp from his tears. Unlike people, Maple never tried to explain, never offered advice, she just stayed. And in that silence, Daniel found healing. A legacy of care. When Daniel returned to Vancouver, he realized how much Maple had given him, not just love, but strength. Inspired by her loyalty, he began volunteering at a local animal shelter. He started fostering dogs who had been abandoned, much like Maple once was. Each time a dog found a new home, he thought of that cold night when Maple came into his life, and how everything changed from there. Maple grew older, her muzzle turning gray, her steps slower. Yet her love never faded. On weekends, Daniel would take her to Stanley Park, where she would watch the geese by the water, tail swishing slowly. Children would still run up to hug her, and Maple, gentle as always, would let them. A Canadian love story forever. Years later, when Maple finally crossed the Rainbow Bridge, Daniel buried her under a maple tree in the park where they had spent so many afternoons together. He placed a small plaque that read, "Maple, loyal friend, gentle heart, true love." Though Maple's life had ended, her love story lived on. Every time Daniel visited the shelter, every time he wrapped a shivering pup in a warm blanket, every time he comforted someone in grief, Maple was there. For Canadians, dogs are more than pets. They are family, healers, and silent companions in both joy and sorrow. Maple's story is one among thousands, but to Daniel, it was the story of a lifetime. Because love doesn't always speak in words. Sometimes, it speaks in wagging tails, wet noses, and the simple, unbreakable bond between a man and his dog.